Hello, and welcome to VB 411. I'm your host, Miz Information, the know-it-all in City Hall, here once more to bring truth and clarity to misconceptions and rumors. This week's hot topic, emergency vehicles and the rules of the road. Now, when we talk about emergency vehicles and how to react, there are a couple of different situations to consider. An emergency vehicle on the way to a stop and one already at a stop. In 2017, police, fire, and EMS in Virginia Beach responded to a combined total of 386,000 calls for service. Every time there's a call, someone needs help for any number of reasons: a house on fire, a traffic accident, or a medical emergency. But before emergency personnel can offer any assistance, they have to get to where they're going. So picture the scene. You're cruising along in your car and suddenly you hear sirens. They're not right behind you, but they are getting closer. What should you do? Well, there's a long-winded legal explanation that spells out all the specifics, but it all comes down to this. As safely as you can, get out of the way. The biggest safety concern reported by our first responders heading to an emergency are drivers who immediately slam on their brakes and come to a stop in the middle of the road. A fire truck or an ambulance can't stop on a dime. That's dangerous for anyone in the car and in the emergency vehicle. The best course of action? Get as close as you can to the edge of the roadway closest to you, safely come to a stop, and let them pass. What to do if you're stopped at an intersection and there's lights and sirens behind you? Well, fortunately, our emergency vehicles and about 75% of the traffic lights in Virginia Beach are outfitted with something called an opticom. Now, it's a device that will signal the traffic light to turn green and provide the right-of-way to first responders. When the light changes, go through the intersection and pull over to allow the emergency vehicle to pass. If the light doesn't turn green, stay put. They're not going to force you into traffic. If you can make a legal turn, like a right turn on red, do so if it's safe. The emergency vehicle will maneuver around stopped traffic to find a path across the intersection. If all else fails, wait for the light to change and pull over after you've cleared the intersection. If there's an emergency vehicle stopped on the side of the road, the law is pretty simple. Move over to another lane if it's safe to do so. If it's a two-lane road or it's not possible to move into another lane, slow down. A reduced speed means shorter braking distance and a longer reaction time to avoid any obstacles. Now, according to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, 129 law enforcement officers were killed in the line of duty in 2017. Of those, 10 were killed after being struck by a vehicle. Moving over or slowing down is an easy act that could very well prevent a death. To read the specifics of these laws, please visit www.vbgov.com/VB411. Today's Did You Know segment comes to us from Facebook. On April 27th, Linda posted a comment and said, "I am checking the DEA website for locations for the National Takeback Initiative collection site for opioids tomorrow, and there's nothing listed for Virginia Beach. Norfolk has several sites. Do we have none in Virginia Beach?" Well, Virginia Beach actually has 4 collection sites, one at each police precinct office, where residents can drop off prescription and over-the-counter medications, needles, and other sharps. And it's not just one day. These permanent boxes are available 365 days a year. Now, you might be thinking, I can just flush them down the toilet or put them out with the trash. Well, flushing them away isn't a responsible way to dispose of medications. Studies conducted by the Environmental Protection Agency have detected pharmaceuticals in water supplies across the country. These medications can't be removed at the sewage treatment plant, so they get released back into the local water supply. And once it's in the water supply, the contamination has the potential to impact crops, livestock, wildlife, and people. Now, admittedly, the level of medications in any given water supply are typically lower than what you'd find in a prescribed dose, but Constant exposure to low doses could cause health problems in the long run. Putting them in the trash isn't responsible either. It's far too easy to rip open a garbage bag and pull out any pills or needles. Medication or sharps dropped off at a take-back location will be collected, taken to an incinerator, and destroyed under the supervision of VBPD officers. This will ensure the medications are disposed of in a manner that is environmentally sound and keeps prescription drugs from falling into the wrong hands. For more information about the Drug Takeback program, including what items are accepted, please visit www.vbgov.com/police or call 385-4578. And now, you're in the know. Thanks for joining me this week. I look forward to hearing from you with topics you'd like us to highlight on the show. Email me your ideas at mizinfo@vbgov.com. See you next time.